Yeah, Jenny, thanks for doing this tonight. I guess just starting off, what's your, overall impression of not only the bracket and how it looks for y'all, but that Norman pod and facing, Florida Gulf Coast in the first round, and then potentially a team you're pretty familiar with in the second round.
Yeah. Um, well, one, how about us being last, and how about our men being last today too? So at least you got to watch the entire show. So that was fun for everybody. Um, but honestly, it's March Madness time, and there's literally nothing more exciting than to be able to watch your team respond when you get to see your name up there. I think it was so fun for me to do that, but to be able to watch them and to be able to see just how connected this group is. So to be able to be awarded with a 3 seed, to be able to host at home, um, now the work starts. You get really excited, and then you see, okay, there's familiarity in our first round opponent and playing the same team a year ago. So we know we got our work cut out for us, but that's also the NCAA tournament, and that's what you want. So I think there is some benefit in us being able to play against them a year ago so that we understand and we know, and you can prepare a little bit better because they're a really difficult team to prepare for. And then you don't look ahead. You can have as many storylines as you want throughout the whole bracket, but you just really don't. You just really focus on getting better this week and then being ready for our first game. I didn't even know what day we were playing. Our team had to tell me it was Saturday. Um, so they'll get a much longer week in practice this week.
You just a quick follow-up. You talk about that style and how difficult it is. What did you learn from facing them last year that maybe can help you, here a year later?
Ryan, we'll find out. Um, but no, I think, when you talk about, and especially with the background that I have being at a mid-major, and you have to have a unique style, and you have to have something that differentiates you for getting NCAA tournament berths. And so they have that. They have a coaching change, so that's a little bit different. So obviously, some of their personnel will be different. Some of our personnel is different. So the biggest lessons I think that we're going to learn is we understand, yes, they shoot the three, but you can say that all you want, and you can prepare all you want until they're really shooting a three on every possession, and spacing you out and in a 5-out offense. So that's something that I think they'll understand when we're saying, no, that shot's going to be up. They're going to understand that a little bit more especially from a defensive perspective.
Hey, I really appreciate it, Jenny.
Thank you, Ryan.
Go to Eric Bailey and then George Toya.
Jenny, it's been a long 4 months, and now you're going to get 2 full weeks off between games. How much does that really allow you just to get not only mentally recharged, but also physically recharged for a basketball game?
Well, I don't know if our team is thinking necessarily recharge. Last week was a hard week for them, and we were really intentional about being able to practice really hard. And sometimes you practice harder than actual games are in terms of, what you're doing, how long you're doing it, the pace, the physicality. And so, we had a few days last week where it wasn't, hey, everybody rest up and let's go. It was, we're still a really hungry group. I mean, this team it's a fun team, and you can see that. And you can see we got a little rocked, obviously, against South Carolina, but also it enables you to watch that film, to look in the mirror and to say, okay, we still have to get better. And so our team was really hungry last week, and they lifted hard. They did a lot in terms of their strength and conditioning off the court. But then they really worked on the floor. So they're excited. We took yesterday off. We had a little kind of active workout today just to kind of get them, moving. But they'll be ready to go tomorrow. So that's been one thing I think that's been so amazing about this group. And part of it is probably, we've talked so much this year about our senior class and how we're so senior led. But our attitudes have been really good in terms of attacking practice. We don't have a lot of complaining. We don't have to really pull teeth in terms of energy. They're really excited to be there, and it's been fun to be able to see that.
I know Iowa, special place for you. Just having them come to Norman, and you just talk a little bit about what Iowa means to you and Coach Bluter. She's got to be proud of seeing two of her former players, coaches being in one region like this.
Well, I actually have experience of that when I was at Drake. I mean, you played Iowa every year, so you've kind of gotten past that. Oh, that's where I played. It keeps getting longer and longer. So you have a little less, but I think, obviously Lisa was an incredible mentor and an incredible coach, and Jan was her, longtime assistant. She was one of my coaches in college too. So you cheer for her, but we always have the understanding that you cheer every game unless you're playing them. And so it'll be fun to be able to see them. But at the same time, we still got to take care of Florida Gulf Coast first. So we're not going to look ahead at all. The storylines are for you guys. And when you get there, you get there. And that's for, that's kind of part of this. And we understand that, but Florida Gulf Coast is a pretty good storyline.
Go to
Thanks so
George
much.
and then
Appreciate it,
Jesse
Jennie.
Crittenden.
Thank you.
Jennie, since you arrived in Norman, you've talked a lot about growing this fan base, getting fans out to games. Just what's your message to OU fans about the importance of being there and supporting your team and how much that can help you guys in these type of games?
Well, the last couple of years, and obviously last year was different, not being able to host, but it's really important. I mean, it's game changing. Those last couple games that ended our season the last couple of years, you feel like could be different if you're at home, right? Because you're playing on the road, they're close games. It comes down to the last couple minutes of the game. And we need to create an environment that wills us to win. I mean, I think our last few games, and we've had some games this season even that have really willed us to win. So we want to pack the place, obviously, to help us win, but it's so much more than that. We want to really grow this sport in this state. I mean, there are so many little girls and boys that just love this game. And what better way than to be able to come to a game? Because you're not going to, a lot of our fans aren't going to get to go to Spokane or Birmingham or, they're not going to be able to do that. And so, but they can come to the LNC and they can come to Norman. And this time of year when you can go and support your team and we can play for you, that's when the magic happens. But we have got to find any and every possible way to be able to bring our fans here. We need to make sure that this is an incredible environment. There's so much national exposure that's going to come, that has come. This isn't just a glimpse on our program. This is a glimpse on our university and our state.
Thanks, Jennie.
Thank you.
Go to Jesse and then John Hoover and then James Hale.
Hey, Jennie, I just wanted to ask about the way you guys have played the last few weeks. I know that South Carolina game was tough, but I mean, you guys had won 9 straight before that. I know that the common coaches thing is to say you want to play your best in February, March, heading into the tournament. But just how do you feel like you guys have played the last few weeks? And do you feel like you guys have kind of found a stride heading into the tournament?
I do. I feel like the connection of our team has been really incredible. I like the balance of our team. I like that, we've had to find ways to win different. We've had to play different types of opponents. Playing Georgia is different than playing Kentucky. That's different than playing South Carolina. So it stretches you. And, there's so many good teams in the SEC. So for us, not only just recently, but I really think this conference has stretched us, and you really hope that you get to see that growth as you head into the NCAA tournament. But I couldn't be more proud of the way that we're going in. And it's not just about the winning, it's how you're playing. It's how your team's connected. It's how they want it for each other and they push each other and they still show up every day. And honestly, I feel the same way about our men's team. I think our men's team has played really well. I think they're really connected. I think they're playing hard. So the really unique thing here is that we really get to support each other, and the players really like each other and they care about each other and respect each other. And you can see that when they step on the floor.
I appreciate it, Jennie.
Thanks, Jesse.
John Hoover and then James Hale.
Hey, Jennie, congratulations. I'm looking at the roster from 2 years ago when you had kind of the big senior class with Maddie and Taylor and them, and you kind of had to rebuild that roster. You're now in year 2 of that roster rebuild, of the program continuing beyond those guys, right? Just wonder if you could comment on the consistency that you've built, the expectation that you've built, the fans coming in, like you mentioned, and kind of where the program is after 4 full years now.
Well, I feel like especially with our fans, they're just such a huge part of us. You know, I mean, they're really, I think in the first, probably, I don't even want to say the first couple of years, but probably the first couple of years, I'm literally calling people by name, telling them to stand up at our games to cheer. And so now they kind of do it on their own sometimes. I still kind of assist. But I think there's just so much more attention on this program. And I think that is because obviously you want to win, and you have to win for people to follow, but also our fans have also willed us to win. So I would say I'm proud of the foundation of the culture and the chemistry of the women in the locker room that I think that great class before passed on. And I think our seniors this year, they believe in something more than themselves. And when you do that, great things happen. I think, when you try to, be the best player, or you try to get your points or get your rebounds, it doesn't work. And I think our team knows that. But I also think our team has this really unique ability to be able to see really good things in other people. And then sometimes that affects us in a way that we start to overbelieve in everybody else. But that's hurt us just as much as if you thought the other way. And I think we've learned that this year. So we know we're really good when we know the person to our right and our left is really good. But that's why people stay here. That's why people like each other in the locker room. That's why they can hang out outside. They don't have to hang out all the time, but they have this deep, deep love and respect for each other when they step across the lines. But they also, I think we've had to navigate the moment, and we've fallen on our face a lot. And, whether it's you go to South Carolina, whether it's falling in the NCAA tournament, a few years ago when we did host against Notre Dame, some of our players are still there and getting really close in the last couple of years. And we don't fold. We just get up, we roll up our sleeves and we go. And I think, we've built a lot of resiliency skills in doing that. And I can't sing praises enough about the senior class that we have that has really kept everything together.
You also have done some work, obviously, the last couple of years with Peyton and Reagan in the transfer portal. And that's part of that culture in 2025, isn't it? Is you have to find those guys in the transfer portal and bring them in and make them part of your program.
Well, I think you're right in terms of, especially from a talent perspective. But, Reagan Beers came here because Skylar Vann and Peyton Verhulst picked an apartment for her before she even moved here. So they were making her come because they wanted that. They wanted to challenge themselves. Sahara Williams said the other day on a radio interview that we had that she said the second that Reagan did come, she's like, it gave us this national attention because we were returning 90% and all of a sudden the expectation just shot up. And she's like, it made me look in the mirror and be like, oh my gosh, I have to get a lot better. When you have that and not, oh, I wish she didn't come because she's taken my time, you can see us elevating. So you can see our team elevating. And yes, there is part of the portal. And I don't think anybody can say that there is or there isn't, but you're still selective in the process. You're still going to find the right people that come into your program. So you don't just, it's not all transactional as much as people want to make it. It isn't. It's still transformational. It's still, they got to come and they got to feel good. They got to have their friends. They still want to play at a certain level. They have to respect each other or it doesn't work. And how many examples can you find that that's the case? So we are still very selective and our players have a lot of say in what's going on.
Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you.
Go to James Hale, and we got time for a few more. Just use the
Sorry.
hand raise function.
My answers are too long. I'm sorry.
No, Jen, you're great. Jim, it seems like it's been a month since we've seen you play. It's been a long time. You talked a little bit about what you guys did last week. I'm curious about the schedule this week. I think I'm always fascinated about the process sometimes. So can you talk about your process getting your team ready for the opening round game on Saturday, which is still a week away?
Yeah. And we don't have all of those details finalized. So we'll play on Saturday. We don't know what time yet either. So when we figure that out, that kind of helps you. So you'll for sure practice probably, Thursday and Friday for sure heading into that. You'll probably be off Wednesday and we'll go, hard tomorrow and Tuesday. So that's kind of what our thought is right now in terms of what our plan would be. But I know that coaches love practice. We love practice, and our players love games probably more than they love practice. So they are probably the most excited about games coming.
One more question, if you don't mind. I think college basketball is so much better in the women's game. And I think we see that. I've watched a lot of women's basketball. Fans are going to get a chance to see some great talent in this regional. I hope it grows the game in this state, because not only is your team really good, but you're going to see some great talent on some of these other teams. Don't you agree? I mean, this is a really good regional.
No question. Yeah, no, this is a great, and this regional is a national exposure regional. I mean, look at the teams that are coming into Norman, that have won their conference tournaments, or obviously have just coming off Final Four seasons. And then you look beyond, just the people that are in Norman, and it's incredible from a fan base perspective. So there's going to be a lot of eyes. And so I'm obviously really hopeful that a lot of our fans, even if you haven't come. We don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care if this is the first time. We don't care if you've been here for however many years. Come, because you'll still fall in love with this team, because they do all the right things for the right reasons.
Thanks, Jen. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Go to James Jackson and then back to Ryan Aber.
Coach, you mentioned it a little bit about Florida Gulf Coast and playing against them and how they love to shoot the three-point shot. Just in your past experience, what goes into defending a team like that loves to spread the floor out and shoot the deep ball?
I'm excited because I feel like we're guarding better this year than we did a year ago. And, I talk about this all the time. Life continues to give this team, to give us, me too, lessons, right? And you get these different experiences. So to be able to step into the tournament, as much as it's nice to play somebody that you haven't played, it's also nice to see how far you've come, and especially from a guarding standpoint. So I don't know enough yet how different they are, or, I haven't had a chance to watch anything or even look at a stat sheet, to be honest. But I'll have more of that information in the next couple of days. So I'm excited to watch us guard. I think the SEC, if they push you in anything, they're going to make you guard. And I'm excited to see us come off of this kind of a conference season and to be able to guard. I think, I'm sitting, obviously Skylar's in here, and just even her defense, I think I'm going to watch a film from a year ago and just realize how far she's actually come from a defensive perspective, because she's had to guard some really great players this year, especially guards. A year ago, she's guarding a lot of post players in the Big 12. And this year she had to guard a lot of guards. So I'm just really excited for us. I'm excited to have an opponent in practice. They're going to be excited about that. They're going to be excited to go back into scout. But this team has grown a lot defensively this season.
Thanks, Coach.
Take one last question from Ryan Aber.
Yeah, Jenny, wanted to follow up on something you said earlier, and I know, like you said, not looking past the first round in Florida Gulf Coast, but you mentioned playing Iowa and how maybe that's the perspective has changed a little bit since the first time that you faced him as a coach. What do you remember about those times early, and just how that's sort of evolved as you face that program more?
Yep. The first time we got beat by a lot. So, yep. No, I think you have a different respect for the game as you get older, and it's like when you're a freshman, you think, okay, every day doesn't matter. Game days matter more. When you're a senior, especially our fifth year seniors, they're like, no, actually practice matters more. Right. And so you start to understand what matters the most. And I think you also start to understand how great people are in this business, and you can like and respect people, and you can still be competitive when you step across the lines, and that's okay. And so that is something that I had to learn a lot, because you want to win those games and you want to prove yourself. And it really has nothing to do with me, and it has nothing to do with proving anything. It has to do with you stepping across the lines with your team, and you give everything that you have, and then you let the scoreboard take care of itself. So when I learned that lesson, we got a lot more, we had a lot more success than we did when it was a little too personal.
Hey, I really appreciate it, Jenny.
Sorry,
Good
that
luck.
might have been not a fancy answer, but that's as
No, it was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. It's true though. Yeah,
how your perspective changes as you get older.
it does. Yep. Let's just not talk about how old I am. We don't need to talk about what year I graduated. We don't need to we can leave all those details out. You can tell everyone I was better than Caitlin Clark. Okay.
Okay, that's the headline tomorrow.
All right. I think
Thanks,
Scott,
thanks, guys.
appreciate you guys.
Appreciate
Thanks,
Thank
Jenny.
you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Boomer. You're up. All right.
All righty, everybody. Now joined by Skylar Vann. We'll do the same thing. We'll raise hands and do it that way. We'll go Eric Bailey and then James Hale and then Ryan Aber.
Skylar, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Hey, just
Good.
want to ask you, you've been able to experience a handful of NCAA tournaments. How much fun is it to be with Zaya and just see her experience everything about the NCAA tournament?
I mean, NCAA tournament is a dream for any athlete that loves the game and that plays the game. So I think for Zaya, this being her first one and us hosting, I think that's really exciting. That's been a goal of ours, honestly, since Jenny's gotten here is hosting. And we had 2 years where we haven't been able to do that. So I think being able to host and for her first year to be that way is really cool.
Thanks a bunch. Good luck this week. Have a good week, okay?
Thank you.
Go to James Hale and then Aber and then John Hoover.
Skylar, you've played so well at OU and you've had so many great things. How cool is it your senior year? You guys are a number 3 seed. You get to host, and you're going to play in the NCAA tournament. How cool is that for you as a senior?
Oh, I mean, it's a blessing. Like, seriously, I'm so happy to be able to play at home one more time for 2 more games, especially in this, like, on this level in the tournament. That's not easy. We got to work really hard this season to get to this point. And I'm really proud of the girls and me and just how we were able to come together really was really good this season.
One more question. Everybody says you got to be playing your best basketball going into the NCAA tournament. Are you? Is Oklahoma playing their best basketball going in?
Most definitely. I think kind of echoing Jenny, I think our connection this like last half of the season has been just different and phenomenal. We won 9 games in a row, and that's not easy, especially in the SEC and going into the SEC tournament as well. And I mean, this time of the year, this is when you want to be playing good. You want to be feeling good and being the most connected, and we are doing that right now. So
Thanks, Skylar. Good luck.
thank you.
Go to John Hoover.
Hey, Skylar, thanks for taking the time to do this. I wanted to get your perspective on, I guess it was your first junior year. They were halfway through that class. I mean, sorry, I misspoke. That class of Maddie and Taylor and Anna and those guys were finishing up their careers, and so much had been built on them for so many years. You're now 2 years past them. I wonder if you could comment on the consistency that Jenny has established in not just those first 2 years, but the last 2 years, and how it's kind of come together.
Yeah, I mean, something special about Jenny's system is that everybody has the green light. And I think that's really important. So you're not, I guess, dependent on people. And that's a really special thing. And I think that's why we've been able to maintain our consistency, is that everybody has a green light to go score, create, make reads. And I think that just grows their game. So when, yes, I was playing under Maddie, Taylor, and Anna, they set the tone, and I just learned from them, and so did Liz and Nevaeh, Raina, Kate, Kirsten Johnson. We all learned from them, and that kind of propelled us to where we are now. And I hope that my senior year, I'm teaching the younger people as well what to do, like when I'm gone. So.
And how have transfers kind of fit into that with Reagan? And then a couple of years ago when Peyton came in, I guess she redshirted that first year, but just the way transfers come in, it's like they fit in seamlessly.
Right. 1,000,000%. And I think what the biggest thing is that we have people coming back. So we have a lot of people that have been through Jenny's system and know it. So having Peyton come in 2 years ago and then Reagan coming in this year, super easy to for them just kind of get the hang of the system. And it's not really a difficult process at all. And I mean, Jenny's system, you're just making reads, you're just playing the game, and that's all we do. So it's pretty easy.
Thanks, Skylar. Good luck.
Thank you.
Go to Ryan Aber.
Yeah, Skylar, wanted to go back to what Jenny was saying about you and your season and just the evolution of, especially on the defensive end. How difficult has that transition been to guard more on the perimeter versus inside? And just what do you think the process has been like, in your view, as your role changed this year?
Yeah, I mean it's a huge adjustment. It's extremely different from, being in the paint, you're just banging with people, trying to keep them out of the paint, versus now you're like on the perimeter guarding people that are probably faster than you, more athletic. And I think I've just had to, well, one thing is you got to trust your teammates, the people on the court with you, so you feel confident enough to guard at a certain level. And I'm happy that I have that where I feel like I can get more up on whoever I'm guarding on the perimeter because I know I have help. I know my teammates have my back. But it's definitely been a huge adjustment for me. But I do love that my game has grown in that because that has been a struggle of mine since I've been in college. So
And then a second question, unrelated. I want to ask you about one of your teammates, Liz Scott, and the way that she handled last year, the way that she's handled this year, and just sort of I don't know if endeared herself is the right phrase, but just that role that she has on that team that goes sort of beyond what she contributes in the box score.
Liz is a full-blown leader. And I think for what she has went through in her college career, I think not a lot of people can go through that. I don't think I could go through that. But one thing like everybody has always said since even last year is like Liz is one of our main leaders. And that is when she was injured versus now she's playing. Like she's one of those people that she's there for a team 100% if she can play or not. And I think that's what makes Liz so special. And like having Liz this year has been game changing for us. And I think you can see it. I think anybody can see it. Liz just adds such a different aspect to our team, being a big that can drive, hit mid-range shots, and really, get really aggressive and physical. I think what she adds to our team is super special, and I'm happy that she's able to play this year. So
Hey, Skylar, I really appreciate it. Good luck this week.
thank you.
Got time for one more, guys. Let's go to Eric Bailey.
Hey, Skylar, I know this is kind of you probably haven't put much thought of it because you're thinking about this year, but you're hoping to have two more games in Lloyd Noble Center. You ever just thought about walking down that ramp two more times, getting ready for games? Same ramp your dad walked down so many years ago. And how special is it just to know that he walked these same ramps, he walked these same halls? What do you think about that?
It's crazy because I feel like I don't, not that I don't think about it anymore. I definitely thought about it a lot like my freshman year. I think but it's super special and like really cool to think about. Not a lot of people get to experience playing where your parent played. And then having also like Zaya being here as well. I think having a sibling also play here and experience like what I experienced. I mean, it's super special and really exciting. And I think for me, I'm trying to really just be focused on what we have ahead. So I'm trying not to think of my last two games playing at the LNC. I think we have bigger goals we want to achieve this season and going into the tournament. So my main focus is definitely going to be kind of who we're playing, being connected with my team, not thinking so much of my last two games. But when it hits, it's going to hit me later once we're done playing. So yeah.
What's it been like this year having him in the stands, watching both of you guys play?
He's in love. He loves it. I mean, he's eating up every time I always see his posts. He'll tag us and stuff. And I mean, he's enjoying it. My mom's also enjoying it. And it's really special. I'm enjoying it too. I think Zaya is as well. So we're just really soaking in our last couple moments of playing together.